Two teachers from Wisconsin are
What
out
do
of a
we
job
have
and they
here?
could face criminal charges after
For
they're
what?
accused of messaging a student to arrange a foursome. I
Oh,
have the
what in
details of what the
tarnation?
teachers are accused of doing on a school trip. I'm
Yeah.
Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime
You're
Fix.
lying. You're
Alexia
Sarah Palin.
Salderas and Jennifer Larson were teachers at
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Craig High School in Janesville, Wisconsin, until the spring. The school district of Janesville launched an investigation of the two teachers in April.
That's a healthy little
Records released by the
campus.
district show that Salderas and Larson attended a state DECA trip with students in February. No big deal.
Mm.
That's what teachers do. They go on school trips with students, they supervise. But what
Right.
happened in early April is what
They was trying to
resulted in them
super
being placed
duper
on leave.
vibes.
Between April 7th and April 9th, on another
Mm-hmm.
trip, the records show that Larson and Salderas were Snapchatting with a student identified only
Oh my
as Student
God.
A, saying they would like to cuddle and have fun. They're also quoted
Nah,
as asking whether
man.
another
Cut
student
'em.
would want to come with them. The investigative
They got
document
turned
says
in?
Salderas gave the keys to his school van to Student A so he could get his clothes out of it and then allowed him to take a lap in the parking lot in the van. Then the
Oh my
document
God.
says Salderas and the student exchanged a, quote, half kiss, and she was changing
What
her
does
shoes
that
by
have?
the van
Oh,
that
she's.
day. On the evening of
That
April
means she
9th, the
swallowed his
investigative
balls.
document says that Salderas sent Student A 5 photos of herself in lingerie and undergarments. There were texts
Lingerie.
where the two
Teenagers
discussed
can't even
plans to meet
appreciate
that
lingerie.
weekend.
You
Then the
weirdo.
next morning, on April 10th, the other teacher, Jennifer Larson, reported to
Look at
superiors
her
that
mother.
Alexia
Look at her
Salderas allowed
grimace
Student
face,
A to
neck,
drive
body.
the
Yeah, she
school
look like the
van.
Hamburglar
Then
and grimace
Salderas
put
texted
together.
Student A that their relationship,
What's
that's
to
what she called it, their
her? That's why they got
relationship,
turned in,
needed
because
to
her
stop,
ugly
and
ass.
Student A agreed. This is a law and crime legal alert. Have you experienced severe gastroparesis or other
Oh,
side
I know
effects
you're
after
not going to
taking
put a
Ozempic
commercial
or another
in this
GLP-1
little
weight loss
short ass video.
medication?
This is a
The
14-minute
Ozempic
video. You going to put
lawsuits
a
claim that the
commercial?
drug can lead
You're
to
going to put in a
severe
commercial for
intestinal
something that
blockage
doesn't even
and persistent
apply
vomiting,
and
and that
appeal to the
manufacturers
people
allegedly
who
failed
watch
to
this.
provide adequate warning
I'm
about these
utterly
risks. True
disgusted.
Law, one of our legal sponsors, is helping those injured file a claim through an experienced attorney who helps ensure your claim is thoroughly presented.
I don't want to
Visit
hear. I don't want to buy that.
www.glp1case.com/crimefix to answer less than 10 questions and check
Bah,
your
bah, bah,
eligibility to
bah.
file a
Nah, nah, nah,
claim.
nah, nah,
The
nah.
following
Okay,
day,
back
on
to the
April
story.
11th, a teacher told the
Hey,
principal of
gang.
Craig High School that she saw a group of students crowded around a phone giggling. The teacher
Oh,
believes she saw a photo
stupid.
of Alexia Salderas in undergarments. The teacher tells the
Damn.
principal and the
Why you all
assistant
in the
district
Benny?
superintendent that she is 95% sure it was Alexia Salderas in the photos. That's when the district places
That's weird to
Salderas on
say.
administrative leave. What happens next is redacted. It's blacked out in the investigative summary. This could
Yeah,
relate to
I
what
see.
the student told district officials. That evening, Jennifer Larson is also placed on administrative leave. 6 days later, on April 17th, district officials
Yeah,
interviewed
nah.
Jennifer
Her ass
Larson,
is tripping.
and she admits to the snaps discussing cuddling, flirting, and implying that alcohol would be involved in a possible meeting with a student.
Damn,
The
you don't even
assistant
got enough
superintendent
game. She
also
knows she
confronted
ugly
Larson
though.
about
She
having a
knows.
prior
She's been doing this
inappropriate
for a minute.
relationship with a former student. Larson, according to the
What?
documents,
How?
admitted to starting a rumor about a current male student's former girlfriend. She said she didn't believe the
What?
girl was good enough for the student.
Oh,
On
weird
April
ass
19th, the
name.
assistant superintendent met with both Larson and Salderas separately
You over there
and told
gossiping
them it
on
was
little
being
kids?
recommended that they resign and that their
Yeah.
contracts would not be renewed. Both Salderas and Larson resigned. So the school
Yeah, I
district
bet.
says that they've turned this matter over to the Janesville Police Department, which is
Right.
investigating. So what kind of crime could exist here? Because from what I'm looking at, I'm not seeing one. I thought we should bring in an expert in prosecuting crimes to discuss this. She is Michelle Snodgrass. She is the
Man, you
Commonwealth's
flirting
attorney
with
for Campbell County,
man.
Kentucky. She's been prosecuting
You
felony
flirting with the
cases for
Sandlot
24
kids,
years. So
man.
Michelle, thanks for coming on. You've seen it all, doing this for 24 years. Are you seeing a crime in the documents that we have
This
here
is
in front of
definitely a
us right
crime.
now?
What?
Well, right now, the documents that they gave us don't tell us a whole lot. What we always look at as prosecutors is what is contained in the messages that could tell us there's more out there. And one of the things that stands out most to me is the message that said, we need to end our relationship. A
That's
relationship does not start over
nah.
5 text messages of a woman in lingerie. So that tells me there's
What?
more. When you look at the history between these two, there was a class trip that they were on with the students in February. So, what happened between February and April? That is what is going to tell the
Oh, it
police
started to
what they
warm
need
up,
to be
started to get a
looking at.
little hot.
And I think you make a really good
Both
point
of
there.
these
This is
niggas are
at April
weirdos.
10th, April 10th of 2024. It's in the morning, and it's after Jennifer Larson apparently reported to the principal that Alexia Salderas had allowed the students to drive around the parking lot in the district van doing the loop, as they said.
Oh, hey
And,
now.
Alexia says to student A that the relationship needs to stop and that student A agrees. So you're right. There was a period
What?
of time
They're
there
both
in
weird,
which
bro. Her ass.
something could have transpired. We just don't know what that was.
Where's her
And
husband?
then we get to farther down in the documents, and there's a lot of stuff redacted. It's blacked out. I look at that, and I'm thinking to myself, they had to have gone to the student. I'm assuming they
Yeah.
went to the student and his parents and said,
Man.
hey, what was going on here? So is that
Word.
redacted because that might be part of a criminal investigation? It may be something that a minor has relayed to them.
Absolutely. So, as prosecutors, law enforcement, we do everything we can to protect children because we got to remember
Nah, you
these
don't.
are minor children. And so you have to treat them in a different way. You might take them to a children's advocacy center to be interviewed as opposed to being interviewed by the police. If they disclosed information, either through themselves or through their parents, the school district is going to redact that for their protection. And I think that's
Man,
important
this
to say that there
another
is
lie.
more that we don't know about that the police are privy to, and that is what is leading them in their investigation, and the prosecutors as well. That's what's telling them whether or not criminal activity occurred. And at this point, I have to assume that there is more. We have a teacher
Yeah.
talking to a student saying, let's meet up
Tweaking.
over the weekend.
Nah.
That means that there was more contact with them.
Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah.
cuddling, possible alcohol
Nah.
use, all
Nah.
kinds of stuff. And there was a half
I'm
kiss
tryna.
shared,
What
apparently,
the? What
with
is? What
student
is
A
that?
and Alexia Salderas. So that right there, I don't know if that could constitute anything, but teachers
Man, they
should
gonna
not
say it was
be
something that it
doing half
wasn't.
kisses with students. It's just not
I'm
appropriate.
about to Google that after this.
It
And you have
definitely crosses the line.
You have to
That's
remember that
illegal.
there's a grooming process, right?
It's
These
illegal.
adults try to find which children might be susceptible. They start the grooming process. It starts with a little laugh. It starts with maybe a pat on the back, a touch here
Word.
and there to see how it is that they're going to react to that contact. And that grooming process does take some time. Is that what was happening the past couple of months until we got to April? And quite frankly, for the life of me, I'm not
Definitely.
quite sure what a half kiss is. Anyway, either you kiss somebody or you don't kiss somebody. So that to me is the minimization that always comes along with somebody who's got a little bit of a guilty conscience. So it was
Yeah, I
just a
didn't even
half
think
kiss.
about
It
that.
wasn't anything
Yeah.
much more than that. But that could constitute
Just
under
busted
certain
a half
laws in
nut.
certain states, and everybody has their own definition, but that could constitute some type of inappropriate sexual contact
For
depending
sure.
upon the scenario and the other facts. Our
Man.
laws allow us to have a minor child when they're in a relationship or a physical situation with somebody who is in a position of special trust, a teacher, a coach, a foster parent, a big brother, big sister.
Boy
That puts
Scout.
them into a different category that holds them to a higher standard.
Yeah, most
Word.
definitely, because you are entrusted. I mean, it's public trust. She's paid by the taxpayers. She's an authority figure. She's
Man,
supposed to
she
be
used my tax
teaching
money
and,
to buy
caring in a
lingerie for
professional manner
this.
for these students, not sending them photographs of her in various states of undress with lingerie and things like that.
Just thought about
One
that,
thing
man.
that is concerning too, we have this Jennifer Larson. She's the next teacher. And then we get down to the bottom
Her ugly ass.
around April 17th. Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Garner interviews JL. This is Jennifer Larson. JL confirms and
Jennifer.
admits to snaps involving cuddling, flirting, and the implication of alcohol in the meeting because,
Yeah,
the
that's
whole
because she
allegation
wanted
here
to
is that they were
feel
trying to set up some
attractive.
sort of foursome. Additionally, Mr.
Yeah.
Garner questions JL about
Boom.
previous
She looks like
allegations of having a
the
relationship with a former student. There's your key word there again, Michelle. Relationship with a former student. And then starting a
man.
false rumor about one of JL's current students at the
She
time,
finna get a grown
girlfriend.
man.
The girl was a student of JL's. JL admitted she started the false rumor because JL believed the girl was not good enough for the male student. What
That's
on earth?
weird.
Okay, so we have the relationship part right there. So
You
you're a
think you're
police
good enough?
officer, law enforcement person.
You look
Are
like
you
a
gonna go back
plumber in
and
the
talk to
face.
this student where she allegedly had a relationship? Because that again does not just sound like Snapchatting. That sounds like more than that.
Well, yeah, and to start off with, I would say that
Sound
this
like she
sounds
was
so
throwing
high
it
school.
back,
You
Chad.
would expect this
Yes.
from high school students, but instead you're dealing with teachers. And
Two.
that thing that is probably the most disturbing, they are acting like
Disturbing,
they are
very.
the students. But there is a relationship. We're talking about alcohol being involved. We're talking about bringing in other
Stupid.
students.
They wanted to
This
get
is
caught.
not something that just occurred over a 2-day time period. And I think that's where the focus needs to be. What has happened over this period of time? What have they
Sick.
been doing? What has their
This
communication
is
been? Snapchat is so horrible for law enforcement because lots of times those messages, the images, they can go away. So we hope that we're
Yeah.
going to be able to get an electronic trail of what was going on between these teachers and these
You
students.
can
But
do it. You
yes,
can
they
just
should
all
be
you gotta do
talking
is
to
contact
everybody.
Snapchat.
And quite frankly, I think it was this student or this teacher that has been there for almost a decade. Probably
Mhm.
time to start talking to former students of hers as well.
Yeah,
Man,
Jennifer
you better let
Larson
them
had been there for quite some
graduated
time.
college
And
students
then
that's married alone,
Alexia
man. Damn,
Salderas
man. Why you
had
gotta go
been there
digging up
for
the
a
pad,
year.
man?
So it is very juvenile, the fact that a teacher, an authority figure, would start a rumor about the girlfriend of another student because you didn't think she was good enough. I mean, this is very
That's what
high
them
school.
304s
It
do,
makes you
man.
think, how do these people even get the job? They must
How
be
you gonna
really
start a
good
rumor
at
on a
putting
minor?
a
Come
show
on, man.
and getting the interview and doing the
You over there
interview.
starting rumors.
And then they get into this environment, and this allegedly happens according to the documents. It's stunning to me because we've covered so many cases recently, Michelle, just in the last 6 months or so, of female
Damn.
teachers, accused of things like this. Have you seen
Mm.
a lot of female teachers? I mean, we were hearing about men for
That's
so
the
long,
IG.
and now it just seems like more and more we're hearing about
I know.
female
Where was they
teachers
at when I was
who
in
are
high school?
accused of these types of
Mm.
things.
Well, the last case I had with this did involve a female teacher. In fact, the last two. And that is what we are seeing nowadays. We
Damn.
are seeing, and a lot of them are younger. However, I've also
Of course.
prosecuted a female teacher who was a mother, who was married, who had 2 children of her own. But
Nasty.
for some reason, there has been a switch.
That's how the
There
fetish.
has been females that are the ones that are becoming the perpetrators. And we can't look at them any differently than we would a male teacher. These are perpetrators, and they are
That's not
finding
the
those
same thing.
students that maybe want attention, who need attention, who are seeking them out as well, and they are putting up no boundaries. In
Dude.
fact, they are knocking down all the boundaries. And
Knocking
they are
down
the
boundaries.
ones that essentially, from
Knocking
looking
down
at these
walls.
messages, are probably pursuing them.
Well, at this point in time, these teachers are not charged with a crime. I should make that clear.
Oh,
But the Janesville Police Department is
damn.
investigating, and whether or not anything comes of
Investigate.
that remains to be seen. But these teachers have resigned their positions, and the Janesville School District made it clear to me that as soon as they found out about this, they placed these teachers on leave. They did their investigation. They contacted law enforcement, and they've been working side by side with them since this began. So it looks like they did everything right, but it'll be interesting to see if anything more comes of it. Michelle Snodgrass, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And that's it for this
Weirdo.
episode of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you
Sarah
back here
Palin
next
face
time.
neck body.